Larry, and today I'm going to show you something you may not have ever seen before. These are deviled eggs, completely vegan. They look and taste just like real eggs. So here's the eggs. This is what we're making. And let me show you how it's done. First thing we're going to do is make the whites of the eggs. So I'm going to take 2 cups of coconut milk. And we're gonna bring that to a boil. I'm also going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of black salt. And this is to taste. You can add more or less if you like. Just trying to give it a little bit of an eggy flavor. And then once it's boiling, I'm gonna turn the heat down, and I'm gonna add 1/3 cup of agar flakes and whisk those in. Now that's a lot, but I want them to be really firm, like real eggs. So I'm just going to cook this for another minute or 2 just to make sure everything is nicely dissolved. And now I'm going to spoon the mixture into these silicone molds, egg molds. I've got 2 molds and there's 8 each, so I'm going to make 16 half eggs. So it's going to be about 2 tablespoons per mold, maybe a little bit more, 2 to 3. So you don't want to fill them all the way to the top. And now I'm going to take toothpicks with cherry tomatoes. This seems to be a pretty good size to make the indentations in the whites. So I'm gonna poke the toothpick through and then lay it on top of, oops. And just lay it on top like that. So I'm going to continue for the rest of these. And then you want to place these in the fridge for a couple of hours to set. Now notice I've already placed them on top of a wire rack so that I can move the whole thing easily and place it in the fridge. While we're waiting for the whites to set, we can work on the yolk part, making the egg salad. So I'm going to start with 1/3 cup of mung beans. Now this is yellow mung beans, so they're the peeled ones. You do not want the green ones, you want the yellow ones. And I'm going to add to that a cup of water to start. We can add more if we need more later. And 1/4 teaspoon of black salt. Again, this is to taste. You can add more or less if you like, depending on how much of that eggy flavor you want. And I'm going to cook this over medium heat, basically until the water is all cooked out of it. So when it gets close to the end, you're going to want to make sure to keep stirring it so nothing gets burned. Now we've cooked out most of the water here. And we just want to check that the beans are soft enough. We don't want them to be really mushy, but we want them to be able to be mashed pretty easily. So probably the best way to check is to just take one of the beans and taste it. And they're a little bit hard, so I'm going to add some more water. So I'm just going to continue cooking them just to get them a little bit dried out. I don't want them to have too much moisture in them. And then we can remove this from the heat and just let it cool for a bit. The beans are nice and cool now. I actually put them in the fridge to chill. And so first thing I'm going to do is just mash them with a fork. And then I'm going to add some vegenaise. Now this is homemade vegenaise. I have another video that shows how I do that. So I'm going to start with a 1/4 cup. See how that works. And then I'm going to add some Dijon mustard. So about a teaspoon. And about a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. Throw in a little garlic powder. And some pepper. And once the whites are set, we can unmold them. So we want to just twist the tomatoes a little bit until they come off. And of course, you can just rinse these off and then use them in cooking, so they're not wasted. And then we can take the whites out of the molds and put them in a tray. I have a deviled egg tray. It's going to be hard to place them on a surface if you don't have a tray like this, because they'll just fall over. So that's what they look like. Let's place them in here. And then we pipe the filling. And then we can sprinkle some paprika on top. And there we have our finished deviled eggs. Look and taste just like real eggs. Thanks everybody for watching, and tune in next time for some other vegan surprises. Bye.